I didn't know which direction to go because it was experimental, and it mostly was more dramatic, R-rated, a lot of violence, and a little bit of comedy, and then some heavier scenes done by Mickey Rourke. The second one, I think we went too far into comedy and started doing too many one-liners, and I thought, okay, let's try to be funny. Then I realized we should get more back to dramatic, and that when men and women talk among themselves that have known each other, there's a kind of human comedy, not jokes, human comedy, and that's what comes out. But when the action starts, I don't like to do joke action. I don't like, I like it to be real, where the audience goes, oh, okay, it was fun up until a moment, and now it gets serious, because you want the audience to feel that there is real jeopardy. So I believe that we finally got it right on the third one. It's kind of like marriage. You know what I mean? Just saying. Oops.
I think it's just like that fantasy ideal of what a man really is and can be, you know? A lot of the guys that I see are walking around in skinny jeans and on their iPhones, and they're not wearing leather and shooting guns, and I kind of miss the leather-wearing, gun-shooting guys.
I think the hardest thing in the world is to find an action person, because it's an undefinable or indefinable thing. That what makes the audience like a person, it's not a matter of muscles, because a lot of good action guys have not been muscular. They're not particularly good looking. There's something that's almost intangible, and I don't know what it is, but I know it's very rare, because there's only been about 15 action heroes, real serious ones, in history.
Even though we have a lot of action, that you also have a great story.
Yeah.
And I think this is what makes Expendables a great movie and a great franchise. If it's the first or the second or the third one now, I'm very happy that I've been involved in all three, and I'm even more happy that I will be involved in the next three.
You better, I hope so.
You know, when I was a kid, I used to watch The Dirty Dozen, movies like that, and there hasn't been one like that for a long time, and I think that's part of the appeal of this franchise, you know, that it's something special. People feel, the audience feels that the characters on screen are actually friendly with each other for real.
The beauty of this movie is that you get to work with guys that have directed their own movies, starred in their own films, and come from diverse backgrounds, and we get to do something that, you know, they keep saying it's retro, it's old, it's 80s, but actually it's not, because we're all like very adult children. So we put a lot of energy into this, and we try to keep it as fresh and contemporary it is today. And it's just the chance of getting to work with these guys is very, very rare, because they're all over the world. And it's I'm glad we came up with a vehicle where we can get it actually on film once and for all.
It was fun. I had very short period of time on the film, but the work was concentrated and skillful. Everybody involved moved quick, and
Harrison has so many dimensions as an actor, but he also is a great pilot. So literally, we designed a character where he can show his skills, his real skills, because he can fly a helicopter, and he actually does.
I portrayed an ex-legionnaire from Spain. I think at some point I even sang an anthem.
He's unbelievable in the movie, I swear to God. The movie is going
fun.
okay, and then he comes on and watch out. I said, Antonio, how about just be you? He goes, what do you mean? I said, just be you. Pretend you're not an actor anymore, that you actually are a mercenary. This is what you do for a living. You've never acted before, but you've been in the jungle, and you're a shooter, you're a killer. And that's what you get. And it's really a fantastic combination. It's like Antonio with a gun. And it's like, it's fantastic, really. He's amazing.
When I got to Los Angeles 23 years ago, somebody on the set of the Mambo King said to me, are you going to stay here? You're going to try pursue a career in America? And I said, well, yeah, I may try. He said, well, you're going to play villains the whole life. You know, when it comes to you, you're going to be the bad guy. And it changes in Desperado, and then I was doing Zorro, and the good guy got an accent like I have, and the bad guy was actually blonde and had blue eyes and was called Captain Love. And something changed there, So the fact that actually a Spanish person like me got invited to be part of this movie, which is kind of a hall of fame of action heroes, means a lot to my community and to me personally. So I'm very, very happy to be part of this cast and just have the possibility of working with a group of legends like I have right here in this table.
Actually, the first time I wanted Mel. Remember Mel? We talked about Mel directing, Mel writing. I mean, I really wanted to use his expertise, and he was so busy doing his own project. I said, well, he goes, well, do you mind if I'll act in the movie? I went, damn, come on board, and that's how it happened.
It was great to work with these guys. I mean, it was a long time coming, you know. You're kind of out there throwing your hat in the ring on your own, and it was just such a blast, you know. Firstly, I don't think he's the bad guy.
Really?
No, I think all those guys are bad guys, okay? And I'm the good guy. I mean, you have to look at it that way. How did I go about developing it? Well, a lot of it was written, and then Sly and Patrick were very generous. You know, if you had ideas or concepts, you know, they were very open to sort of having me write them and use them. So it was kind of fun.
Mel is being a little modest because he based his character on a real character. Am I right?
Yeah, more or less.
Yes, more than less.
A type of real character.
And so what he says in the film is actually has been historically recorded. It has been documented. It's I won't bring up any names, but it's all true.
I could get killed.
Yeah, we could get killed. We could get shot. But so he plays a character that actually existed, and he just paraphrased it. So he did a lot of work on it. He just didn't phone it in at all.
When I made my first film, I made it with no money, and the reason I made it with no money and no distributor was because I wrote a list of my favorite filmmakers, and Sly was one of them. And I said, how did these guys get their first film made? Because no one lets you make a movie until you make a movie. That's the problem, you know, that's the challenge every filmmaker faces. And what inspired me about Sly's story and the way he made Rocky, and I'm sure everybody here knows it, is that he rolled the dice. And you've got to have the balls to go out there and chase what you dream. And that really, really inspired me enough to mortgage my house and make my first film. Thankfully, I sold it to Sony and got my money back. But, you know, and then I made that film, and then I had a call from my agent who told me that, like, just so you know, Sly's a huge fan of your film, because when I made that film, it was Rambo in the High Country. That's what the working title was. So, no, it was an absolute blast. And certainly for me, just to have, like Sly mentioned before, there's all these guys have worked on so many films, and that was the greatest part of this experience is to have that wisdom on set. That every week, you know, every couple of weeks, there would be a new player on set, and we got to hang out. And I just felt like, I said from the beginning, I just want to take as much information from these guys. And it was like another film school all over again. And no, really fantastic bunch of guys, and we had a real ball shooting it. Like, it really was a lot of fun.
It's complicated because there's so many of us. You wonder, it's hard to put us all in a film, if you know what I mean. It's just because everyone has to be served. And normally this film, the first cut of it was 4 hours. And I liked it. I thought it worked. But, you know, you guys might get a little tired. So we have to condense it. So we have to think about how do we, I shouldn't say franchise it, but branch it out so it all works. It's because, you know, we're in uncharted waters. This has never happened before.